Good morning, it's Timika Chambers. Recently my son told me, he shared with me um, that mom, I realize that when I'm angry, I make mistakes. And that is the one thing that is like music to my ears, because he is recognizing at a young age that he can either be the master of his emotions and feelings or be enslaved by them. And that's one of the things that we often would talk about in devotion, because my mother growing up, she did not put emphasis on the devil. And there was a movie that I saw, and I can't remember the name of it, and I know it'll come when the time is right. I'll see it again. Or I'll remember the name of the movie. But it said that just because you exist doesn't mean I need to be afraid of you. And I think just because we don't know everything that there is in the world other than what we read, you can refer to the Bible, you can refer to any other spiritual book. But the thing is, even if something exists, do we keep our minds on it? And I love the portrayal in the Passion when Jesus is on the mountain, he's praying. And there's this figure that is watching him. Evidently it's supposed to be the devil or evil. And Jesus continued to pray as this snake, the evil presence, there was a snake that was coming towards Jesus as he was praying. And it was as if you would think that Jesus didn't realize that snake was coming towards him. And when he was done praying, it was made known that he knew. And I love that scene because it just definitely confirms it, that even if it exists, doesn't mean I have to be afraid of you. That I can keep my mind on what I am here to do, the conviction to purpose. And often we are tempted to permit these emotions and feelings to direct our paths. Whether it be anger at someone, and we feel that we're going to get back at them, that we can stop them from doing things, or even harm ourselves because we feel like we can sabotage them. We start thinking about sabotaging. And the thing is that we have to keep in mind is that whatever we attempt to do to another person, we have first done to ourselves. That we have allowed those emotions and feelings to come in us and to change us, to cause us to take on a certain behavior, something that is unbecoming of ourselves. That even fear and allowing fear to guide us, direct us, and having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and causing more fearful things. We're afraid to go out of our house. We're afraid to wear things. We're afraid to eat things because we fear we're going to gain weight. We are afraid to say things because we're afraid that we're going to bring war in our home, or we're going to make someone angry, make someone angry. We don't make people angry. That is something they decide to do. It is a choice, just like it is a choice to take on these emotions, and it's a choice to allow them to direct us. There are stages of choices that we have. We can accept what someone has said to us, or we can reject it. We can give it back to them, because when we give it back to them, they're put in a position where they have to take ownership of what they said. That we refuse to take on that energy, because when you think about thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings, thoughts, they are energy. And when someone does something to us, whether it's hitting us, slander, saying something unkind, untrue, that is energy there. And it's not that for example, when someone hit us, it's not so much that we're taking the act. We're taking the emotions beyond the act, because it can become a domino effect. That when someone is angry at us or says something unkind, then we take it and accept it. Then we can say it to ourselves and be unkind. I had a client where she got on the phone and she was just talking up a storm and it didn't even sound like her. And she was cursing. And I said, you sound like, and forgive me, it's a stereotype, I know. I said, you sound like a man. You know, her voice had deepened and she was talking this. And she said, this is how my husband talks to me. And I said, oh, so she accepted what he was saying and internalized it and grew these weeds of anger, self-hatred, grew inside of her that was preventing her from moving forward with passing her licensure exam. Many other things were in the way. But when we think about things that we're trying to accomplish, and Tyler Perry has talked about that even when he was working out his plays and how he had to forgive his father. We know about that. That was in something he shared. But often we can allow our emotions and feelings to get the best of us. You know, we talk about, of course, slavery, African Americans. We talk of the color, you know, if we've ever been enslaved or our ancestors been enslaved per se. And we talk about that kind of slavery. But what about the slavery when we are allowing anger, frustration, and fear to control us? We are being enslaved by these emotions. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about things that are happening in the present? Because we can't change the past, but we can change how we choose to see our life experiences, how we choose to use our thoughts. That because someone is unkind, because someone has done something that was unkind, said or did something, didn't do something, didn't say something when we needed them to say something, do we take that in and allow that to control us? Or do we say, I'm going to give that back to you, and I exercise my right to think how I want to think, to speak how I want to speak, to hear how I want to hear? Because there have been times where people have said things that I didn't hear what they said. And I believe that God was protecting my hearing. The God in me was protecting my hearing. There were things that I did not need to hear, that I did not need to focus on. Because often we want to take pain personal. We want to say that you did this to me, you hurt me, and not realizing that pain does not discriminate. No color, no race. It wants to spread, to grow, just like any other thought, any other idea. It wants to grow more of itself. And so when you take on someone else's words as something you're going to sow in yourself, when you take it personal, when you take on their words, when you take on their actions, you are taking on that pain. And the chances of you spreading that pain has increased. Let me give you an example. If your spouse and you were talking and it turned into an argument and you took that information personal, you took those thoughts, that energy personal, and then you went on to say negative things about yourself, and then you went on to say negative things towards your children. Then your children went to school and said negative things to other children, to the teachers. It's you see how it can spread. Even as a business person, and maybe you were arguing with someone, your mother, your father, and you took that to work with you in your establishment, that energy that you're carrying, whether you are a barber, whether you are a dancer, a writer, a producer, a director, whatever it is that your role is, a teacher, whatever it is, you're taking that energy into an establishment and causing a domino effect by distributing that pain, those emotions that were associated with that pain onto other people. And then we want to know how come kids are bringing guns into schools. How come kids are shooting kids? How come there's there's violent acts that are going on? That stuff doesn't happen overnight. Somewhere along the line, those emotions and thoughts were seeded, accepted, planted. They were nourished, fertilizer, more hate, more divisiveness, fear, thoughts, and eventually, whatever we sow inside of ourselves, we will eventually reap that harvest. So if we're sowing anger and we wonder how come other people are angry towards us, if we're sowing fear and we wonder how come all these fearful thoughts are coming in my head about my children, about my work, about going bankrupt, whatever it may be, then you wonder. Everything starts inside of us. We don't have to go blaming or thinking about other people. We can choose who we want to be. That's self-empowerment. That's self-control. That God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. We are the masters of our minds and our bodies. We choose what we want to nourish inside of us. We choose how we want to respond to others. We choose our business decisions, not based on what other people have said and done, but what do we want to see in our world? Because just like God created the moon, the stars, created us, we create our world. We create our environment. We decide who we want to be around. We decide how people are going to affect us. We choose to stand our ground. We choose to love despite hate and divisiveness. We choose not to even give power to what other people are saying or doing. The news that we see, my mom told us, let that be information. We don't have to go spreading everything that somebody is doing, because the more we do that, the more we're speaking power or life into what is being done. Instead of praying for people, we're speaking that into life. Instead of visualizing a better world, a better business, a better home front, instead of seeing the person as harmonious, we're seeing them as angry. And therefore, we want to know why they're continually angry. We attract more of what we consistently think and speak about. Individual consciousness affects collective consciousness, the world. Individual gardens affect our collective, our massive garden. Inside of us is the Garden of Eden. Inside of us is the peace. But we have that responsibility to keep it as such. To choose not to give in to others' opinions and stereotypes. To not give in to what they do and what they say. We take our choice back. We take our life back. We take our power back. So I hope you understand that what we see in the world is not who we need to be and continue to be. That we have the power to create our world from the inside out. And often it's what we believe that we are is what will direct our paths. We are not magnets of hate and divisiveness. We are not our ancestors. We are our individual persons with individual choices. We don't have to be a statistic. We choose. Everything is a choice, a process. And so what do you choose to cultivate within you? What do you choose to grow within you? What fruit are you choosing to harvest, to release? And so I hope that this week will be one of the greatest weeks that you will continue to have going forward, because I believe that within us is the ability to positively affect the world. That we are the masters of what we think and what we do. That we have control. No matter what we've been through, we have control. We can't, you can blame, you can shame, you can feel guilt, but what good is that going to do now? And especially if that person is no longer here, you are allowing them to control you. So take your life back. Reassess. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? How do you want your business to go? Where do you want to work? What do you want to do for the rest of your life? I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself. Make this lifetime great, because no matter what, you still can, because the power resides within you.